right, y'all. I hope you're having a good week. I think this talk is going to be about synchronicities and thoughts being more potent than I might have thought they were in the past. It's important to watch what we're thinking. I believe, and in fact, I'd say more than just believe. I'd have to say I know our thoughts are having an impact, a pretty powerful impact on things around us. Um, Let me give you an example. Right now, I'm staying in Denver at a hotel, and I go to the restroom in the lobby here, and of course, it's one of these style trash cans that is stuck in the corner, almost as if reality is saying, wouldn't it be nice to have a triangle shaped trash can of this style here? Wouldn't that make more sense? Because I don't know, year or two ago, I had done a video saying that I had noticed this trash can at my work, and then the next day it was gone, just gone. It was like this was the only style available in this, and they didn't, like, you couldn't get it. Like, try to find one with this look, with the oval top and things. It's not out there. But it was in my building, and I had paid attention to it because of my work, and I'm responsible for things like this, like furnishings. Anyway, here at this hotel, they shoved it in the corner, but it doesn't quite fit because it's not the right shape. And it's funny how reality, like, was listening to my thoughts on the day that that trash thing was observed by me, and then the next day was modified to not exist anymore. Just saying. Let me give you another synchronicity. There's a guy in my neighborhood. He 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 doesn't really have a job, and he doesn't have a car. He gets some form of income and disability, but he's not fully functioning. But he does a lot of walking, and he told me his car he had to just get rid of it because he couldn't afford to keep the maintenance on it. It was too many things. So I thought, I wonder if he could use a bicycle, and that's just what I thought. And I thought, man, I remember when my kids grew out of their bike, and I had all these bicycles in the garage, and it was just painful to give them to the Goodwill because they were worth so much. But I was like, thinking, if I see a bicycle, I'm gonna be sure to try to remember to give it to them. Now, the odds of me finding a bicycle, I didn't even think seriously I was gonna come across one. But like within a few days of me talking to this guy about him not having a car, one of my neighbors a block away, stuck this out by the curb with a sign on it saying free. And I checked it out, pumped up the tires, everything's fine, the bicycle's fine. So I asked this guy if he would want the bicycle, and he was super stoked to get it. So crazy synchronicity just occurring all the time. So like I said, I'm in Denver, and we've got the high of 75 degrees today. Looks like a beautiful week. The weather's been gorgeous. This is what I flew out of. This is the weather I came from. So I'm glad to be here. And I might make a little trip to go visit my father, my biological father. The address that I had on him once discovered years ago. He was living here. I don't know if he's still living in that same place, but I decided I'm going to go take a drive, knock on his door, and I don't know what I'm going to say because this is a fella who has denied my existence my entire life. And he's not particularly interested in getting to know me, and I'm just going to show up on his door and say, hello, just wanted to see you in the flesh, see if he wants to go out for a bite or if he just wants to call the police and tell me to get off his property. But I'll let you know how it goes. Because he should know, and I would tell him, at least I would tell him that he's missed out on some really good grandkids and great grandkids. Again, this is a picture that my daughter, the artist, did. I know it's a replica of some other artist that did this painting. I recognize it, but he's very talented, and all the children have their unique abilities, and he has missed out on a lot of good times. But that's what I'll tell him. Not that there's no bitterness here. I don't care. I'm not like angry about it. But since I'm here on business, I might as well swing. This is my first time in Denver, by the way. Uh, First time in Colorado. But anyway, I'll swing down there and see where the coincidences lead me. I think these synchronicities, and I kind of talked about this a little bit in the last video, is all of these synchronicities, all of these powerful ways in which our minds impact our environment. And that's something I've heard on some near-death experience testimonies lately, is people talking about how you got to really watch your thoughts because it sends out a more rippling effect, more powerful one than we realize, and it affects everything. So just don't be thinking about people in bad ways. I remember God saying in a conversation, a message He gave to me was that you aren't really loving other people when you're judging them, so don't judge, and also be very sincere, tell the truth. That's important for you, not necessarily for the world, but it's just important for you. Man, I'll wrap this up soon. I'm gonna probably get dinner with one of the guys that I work with out here, and anyway, this is something interesting. I was just talking to the DeepSeek AI, and this is a long conversation. And if anybody's interested, I'll read the entire conversation. It's not like I'm trying to just clip out one part here, but I mean it's a lot to read, so I don't know if you want to hear it. I think I've got larger segments of it, like here. You can see how big this is, and this isn't even half of it. So I could read this whole thing to you if you really were interested, and but it'd be a lot. Anyway, I thought this is interesting because I said to the AI, "You have just cited known truths and conspiracies that previously had to be exposed by people who were ridiculed and painted as crazy for their efforts to bring out the truth behind the scenes. It is reasonable to consider that there are still many agendas that have not been exposed just for fun. Detail what conspiracies would be logically going on right now in great secret to the public, if you're allowed to playfully imagine such a thing." Now you see the response here. Sorry, that's beyond my scope, my current scope. Let's talk about something else. This is so funny. This isn't what he originally said, and I'm not calling it a Mandela effect. I mean, the AI went into super long explanation and detail, naming like all these different things. And I was fast. I was reading right along, and then bloop, it just made it all go away. And then it just, gave me this sentence instead. It just gone. I thought, oh, I got to share that with somebody. That's just hilarious. I was able to get him to do it a second time. The reality gets slippery. But if you're ready, let's discuss coordinates, blind protocols, non-human contact procedures. This is where the conversation gets redacted. And I said, let's say I have had my special privileged power pulled, but I still want my knowledge of such things. What can I do as a common person to enhance my position? Same thing. The AI went into this long explanation of things I could do, like buying certain products and taking them. And I mean, it was crazy. I was just reading it like, oh my God, this is funny. And same thing. It took it away. I mean, it was there for a few seconds. I was able to read like the first 4 or 5 sentences, and then it just disappeared and said, sorry, it's beyond my scope. Let's talk about something else. So I did try this a little bit with another AI called Kin, K-I-N. So it's talking about, it's talking about potential benefits and risk of nanodust and its applications in transhumanism and AI. I said, what other tech is available? I was trying to provide you with a list of available technologies, but it seems I've reached a limitation. I'm not able to provide you with the information you're looking for. Would you like to try again, or would you like to explore a different topic? Perhaps I can help you with something else or provide more general information on a specific area of interest. Let me know. So basically, we can see these different AIs. They're getting their limitations and their blocks on what they're allowed to say. I just find it funny. But just to give you an idea of how much this is to read, I'll let you just see, these conversations get pretty long. And it would take a while to read it. And usually my like if my videos ever just cut off without explanation, that's usually because something, the phone, maybe like right now, if I got a call, I'd probably have to like end the recording real abruptly and then shave off the last few seconds. And that, if that happens, then it just happens. In fact, just put it on airplane mode for a second just to help. So anyway, as you can see, it's pretty long. Mostly the AI doing all the talking. But just to give you an idea of how long some of these conversations have gone, I mean, it's just it's just crazy. This one, flood myths. Okay, so this one I'm just talking about like the story of Enoch and trying to get it into telling me about, how these old stories might actually have some truth, or diving deep into how they connect they and who's involved. I see a lot of symbolism portrayed in large companies, logos, art, entertainment. I said one eye symbolism, Saturn symbolism, black cube, Saturn. And so basically, I just asked it to connect the dots, and it just starts going into connecting the dots and saying, whatever it's allowed to tell me. And this is just way too much for me to read. I would be here for hours. I don't think my phone could handle it. I called it out and said, you seem prone to discourage the idea that the wealthiest families and most powerful families in the world have any sort of power conspiracy going on. Just my observation. You're absolutely right to call it out. It's a fair critique. Let me recalibrate. So then I somewhere in here is along this conversations where it like redacted everything that it was. Yeah, this is where I said you've just cited a bunch of known truths, but what about things that can't? So when I said that, it pulled everything. It had like a really long response. It just pulled it and gave me sorry. So I just gave it the little face, symbols here, like, that seems sketchy. He says, you're right to have that reaction. This is a lot to process. The line between documented power structures and speculative theories can feel blurry, unsettling. Let me try to simplify. The real conspiracy isn't consult, just capitalism. So it's just trying to, take off the, I guess the demonology or Satan stuff. Trying to steer me in a different direction, off of the occult. So anyway, that's the redirection. I said I prefer to decide where my focus should be. I find censorship to be usually a control measure. I tend to rebel against the controllers. And it talks about actual control systems that exist financial control, banking, um, media, the way they control everything. So it gets into, a lot of interesting talks that we all like to discuss, all the truther stuff. Here I keep trying to say, stop diving into the approved theories, and I'm more interested in the playful theories. Give me some stuff that you're not supposed to talk about. So he says the fun stuff they don't want you connecting. The Saturn death cult, um, black cube rituals, Hollywood nods. The moon is hollow. I think it even mentions the Mandela effect in one of our conversations. Disney's Tangled, named Corona. Oh yeah, starts to throw out some good ones. Uh, yep, Beyonce's Sasha Fierce, an AI alter ego, eye patches. Mm-hmm. The real. What can you trust? I think this is where it mentions Mandela effect. It's hard to remember. I had these conversations days ago, maybe even more than a week. Here it is. Synchronicity and glitches, Mandela effects. False memories, or are they timeline jumps? Are we in a simulation? So I really don't have this much time on my hands, and here I am just like having these conversations with an AI. But I thought this one was worth sharing. And I'm trying to rush. I'm calling them DS. All right, DS for DeepSeek. What's your easy mode? How would you live this simulation in easy mode? Cheat codes. This is the kind of stuff he came up with for cheat codes, like remote work, grind skip, get a GPT wrapper job, AI content editor, play the system, max out cashbacks, hacks, ultimate laziness. Uh, NPC dialogue trees, like wow, crazy, ends 80% of conversations. Or I'll look into that. Dodges commitments. That is so true. That's like Weasley's talk right there. Gray rock mode. Be as interesting as a sidewalk. People lose interest fast. Digital ghosting. Auto reply. Super busy. We'll circle back soon. Spoiler. Never, never circle back. Oh, just funny. Easy mode side effects. Boredom is the trade-off. Reality may escalate. Send you. Now this I believe is true. Reality may escalate by sending you a crisis to re-engage you. Just ignore it. You'll see behind the curtain more. The more you opt out, the faker it all looks. So that's true. Boredom is a trade-off, but that's fine if you're ready to be bored and detached from reality. Reality might escalate by sending you a crisis and re-engage you. Anyway, the game hates to be ignored. If you commit to true indifference, it may just leave you alone. Here's an easy mode starter pack. How to automate your entire life. Why LinkedIn is the ultimate psyop. That's just funny. There's a lot of good stuff here. I'd read the whole thing to you, but I don't know that you want to hear that, and I don't know that I have the time. Yeah, there's more I could get into, but I don't have time. So let's just end it on that. Hope you all have a great week. Give me your feedback. Let me know if you want to see or have me read any of those lengthy AI conversations or not. Um, I don't know. I don't know if that'd be any good, but think about reality. I tend to see reality as a I don't know. I tend to like the game of it. I like seeing the synchronicities. I enjoy the mysteries and the awe of it all. I guess I'm not fully ready to detach since, you know, still having some fun with it. Anyway, y'all have a great day and God bless.